Hey guys, Brian delivered you the goods here. I'm returning to you late this morning, which I kind of want to make this quick, this review, because I gotta get to work pretty soon. So I'm returning to you late this morning for a album review, and this is for Eminem's Side B album for Music to Be Murdered By. The next part to it, the extra tracks, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna discuss what I listened to for this side B for Music to Be Murdered By and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this review. Now, this is like way before you get to the actual Music to Be Murdered By, and I gotta say, it's pretty good. Um, it actually slams, but there are some songs like Key, She Loves Me, and Killer were not really my favorites. They were okay, but they weren't great. Book of Rhymes was pretty good, and Favorite Bitch was, excuse my language, but that's what the song name is. Featuring Ty Dolla Sign. That was actually pretty good. Guns Blazing was another interesting song that I really enjoyed. Eminem's rhymes, and I think when he did Discombobulated, I'm like, oh, he's going back to his old ways from like Relapse and all that stuff. uh, it sounds like a feel from his old album, Relapse or whatever, which I actually enjoyed Relapse, but yeah, he had a lot of issues with when he was making that album. And then when he went into recovery for the Recovery album, it surprisingly did really good. Black Magic was a good song featuring Skylar Grey. I really like that. Alfred's Theme was pretty solid, a pretty strong song. And Tone Deaf was another good one I liked. Nat was pretty good. So was Higher. These Demons were great. Was great, featuring Maj. But Guns Blazing, you just hear the guns in it and the machine gun in it, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, he's just on a killing spree for this album. I'm just like, this is just sick. Uh, it's just horrifying but sick. Even the actual regular edition for Music to Be Murdered By was pretty good. But there was one lyric that was, I think there was a few lyrics that recite in this side B where I wasn't sure if I liked the lyrics, but with how he's spitting his rhymes, Eminem is, but they weren't so bad. Um, like just there was a lyric that threw me off a little bit. I think it was in Alfred's Theme, which it was a pretty lengthy song. It was like over 5.5 minutes, so you're in for a pretty lengthy song. Key, the skit is not my favorite. It's kind of weird. I'm just like, typical Eminem. He's just making weird, it, like, skits for his songs with his voice singing in it. She Loves Me was not a bad one, but not a great one. It wasn't a strong song. And Killer was, it had a distorted beat that I wasn't sure about liking. Um, but the song Favorite Bitch was, it was good in its own way. Uh, Sorry about that noise. It's, uh, some construction workers or something. I have my window open or whatever in my room. So sorry if you can hear that. Thus far, the interlude was really good. And I enjoyed the intro track for Alfred. That was really good too. And Zeus was a really lit song too. Um, White Gold, who was like singing his choruses or whatever, he didn't do so bad, but well, he didn't do very bad, but it just when you say you're talking to a rap god, you're talking to a monster, I'm like, yeah, he's proven that he's a rap god. Eminem has. And he's can spit his flows a lot faster now. His rhymes a lot faster. So he does really good. Overall, I think Music to Be Murdered by Side B was pretty good. It was not disappointing. I think I probably won't add it in the. I'm not sure if I'm gonna add it in the best albums of 2020, the Side B one. If I do, I'll let you know. But if I don't, it's because I'm gonna mention it when I talk about Music to Be Murdered by on my best albums of 2020 end of the year video, which it will be on there. And just Higher is another pretty solid song too. It's a strong one. And Nat, I think, was a single. To be honest, I think it was a single. But yeah, for a score, I think I'm gonna give Music to Be Murdered by Side B a 8.5 out of 10. It was pretty strong of a Eminem like deluxe edition, I guess you could call it. So if you hear this and Music to Be Murdered by, you're in for like almost a 2-hour album. And it is pretty lengthy, but it is worth listening to. It's not disappointing. So I think the longest record that came out this year was the Linkin Park Hybrid Theory 20th Anniversary Edition album. That was very long. It was like almost 4.5 hours long. So that was like almost half of the day wasted when I did that review on October 8th. But yeah, it was probably one of the longest albums I heard this year. But it was pretty good. It just was very long. And I was getting a little tired listening to that album. So I didn't listen to it again, but it will be on my best albums too. Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the Eminem Music to Be Murdered by Side B album, the deluxe edition, if you've heard it. And if you like this album review I made for you guys late this morning, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can to support the channel. I will be returning to you for the S&O Babies soundtrack review. If I don't return to you tonight for it, it's going to be tomorrow or Saturday. I'm trying to do that soundtrack review, but I actually got another end of the year video to do tomorrow, so I'm going to really try to get it out tonight as best as I can. But I hope you did enjoy this Music to Be Murdered by Side B Deluxe Edition album review that I did for Eminem. It's only 16 tracks, so you're in for like under a 50-minute album. It's like 49 minutes and 1 second, so to be technical, that's how long it is. So it's not very long of a record, but it's pretty interesting for the 16 tracks you get. But the longest one has got to be the regular edition, because that was over an hour. But it was worth listening to and worth buying too. I personally think you guys should buy this. They only have this digitally, the extra tracks, but they'll probably have a CD for it eventually. I don't know when. It just depends on whenever he decides to release it. But I'm going to end this video here by saying thank you for watching this Eminem Music to Be Murdered by Side B Deluxe Edition album review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe. Take care. And hopefully I'll see you tonight in the S&O Baby soundtrack review, album review, or soundtrack review is what it's called. because it's just a soundtrack. So I'll definitely see you in the next video.